Hello. You're almost ready to enjoy a remarkable new world-embracing technology, one that'll truly revolutionize your home entertainment. The RCA brand digital satellite system will open to you a wide array of entertainment and information options, as close as your handy RCA universal remote. But before you can access this new world of DSS programming, you'll need to follow these video instructions and get the system installed. We're here to carry you through the process, step by step. First, we'll examine the three RCA DSS components and the mounting system. Second, we'll look at the materials and hardware in your do-it-yourself installation kit, as well as the tools you'll need. Then, we'll go through each step of the installation process. Surveying your site to determine dish and satellite receiver locations and where you'll route the cables. Mounting and assembling the dish. Routing the cables, including telephone connections and grounding. Connecting to the satellite receiver. Aligning the dish to receive signals from the DSS satellites. And activating your programming. At the conclusion, we'll carry you through the operation of your digital satellite system and tell you where to get any kind of help you need from Thompson Consumer Electronics and your program providers DirecTV and USSB. Now, let's get started with a look at the RCA DSS product. The RCA digital satellite system includes three components. The antenna low noise block converter, LNB, collectively known as the satellite dish. The satellite receiver, which is the unit that receives and decodes satellite signals, and a universal remote control hand unit. You purchased one of two DSS packages, either basic or deluxe. Both systems are installed the same way. Now, here's what you'll find in the do-it-yourself installation kit. A handy compass for the dish alignment. 6 feet of stereo audio-video cable. 6 feet of SVHS cable. 100 feet and 12 feet of RG6 burial cable with weatherproof F connectors. 2 25-foot telephone line cords with modular connectors. A modular inline telephone coupler. Silicone seal for weatherproofing. A hardware bag with all the small items you'll need. An installation and troubleshooting guide. And of course, the instructional video you're watching. Now, we'll review the tools you'll need for the installation. These are not included in your installation kit. A drill and bits. Depending on the installation site, you may need masonry bits. Assorted hand tools. This includes pliers, wire cutters, a hammer, a flashlight, and screwdrivers. A ladder if necessary, long enough to reach attics and rooftops if they're part of the installation. For safety reasons, a fiberglass ladder is recommended. With your product, the installation kit and your tools handy, we're ready for the first installation step. This is the site survey. Before starting the installation, it's important that you do a site survey. During the site survey, you'll select a location for the dish and receiver. You'll also plan a route for the cables that connect the two together. Let's start by selecting a location for the dish. In determining a dish location, you'll need to approximate the location of the DSS satellites in order to get the best possible signal. First, determine the side-to-side bearings, the azimuth, and the up-down bearings, the elevation of the satellites. Several methods for determining your azimuth and elevation are included in your manual. These bearings will change for different locations across the U.S. That's because the DSS satellites are in geostationary orbit above the equator in the 101-degree west longitude slot. As the installation site moves north, the elevation of the dish lowers to point at the satellites. For example, in Houston, the dish elevation might be 48 degrees, while in Minneapolis, it lowers to 37 degrees. The azimuth also changes as you move in either direction from the 101-degree slot. For example, Seattle is about 125 degrees west longitude, so a dish must point east to be aimed at the satellites. Syracuse is about 80 degrees west longitude, so a dish must point west. Once you know this, you're ready to use a compass and an angle finder to approximate the location of the satellites to your site. A compass is included in the do-it-yourself kit. To use this compass, align the compass arrow with magnetic north and south. Then draw an imaginary line from the center of the compass to the azimuth of the DSS satellites. This is the general side-to-side direction the satellite dish must point. If possible, pick a landmark in the distance that aligns with this angle. If not, repeat the procedure whenever confirming possible locations for the dish. A complete explanation of how to use a compass is in your installation manual. To determine the elevation of the satellites, use an angle finder, a device that measures angles. One can be made by using a common protractor. To do this, place the protractor on a level. With the level horizontal, the angles on the protractor are the elevation. There are also special angle finding devices available at most hardware stores. To locate the DSS satellites, draw an imaginary line to the sky following the azimuth and elevation bearings. Now, select possible sites for the dish. Be sure the view is clear and unobstructed at each site. Be concerned about tree growth, foliage, new buildings or additions that could be constructed. The second operation is selecting a mounting system for the dish: horizontal, vertical, chimney, pole, etc. This is done by selecting a mounting system that matches your mounting surface. Once you've selected your mounting site and system, you'll need to consider several factors before drilling the holes and mounting the dish. These include safety. Don't position the dish under overhead power lines or lights. The line of sight path to the satellites, and the stability of the mounting surface. The mounting surface must be both stable and structurally sound. Excessive movement of the surface may reduce the system's performance. The surface should be able to withstand at least 200 pounds of force. The next step in your site survey is identifying a route for the cables that run from the dish to the satellite receiver. Select the shortest possible route. And take advantage of crawl spaces, exterior walls, closet spaces, and attic spaces. Find a path that both hides and secures the cable. A thorough site survey is very important to make sure you know exactly how the installation will be made and what tools and materials you'll need. Let's go now to the actual installation of the RCA digital satellite system. As we've seen, there are two main components of the system: the dish and the satellite receiver. The dish packaging contains 5 pieces: a reflector, an LNB support arm, the foot and mast assembly, the LNB, and a package of nuts and bolts to assemble the dish components. The dish packaging is the same for the basic and deluxe packages. The receiver packaging contains the receiver, a remote control, RF cable, which will include the screw-type F connector that should be used with the DSS receiver, and telephone cable. If you're installing the deluxe model receiver, you'll also find audio, video, and S-video cables. DSS installation is divided into 4 steps. 1. Mounting the foot and mast assembly. 2. Assembling the dish. 3. Installing the receiver. And 4. Aligning the dish. We'll start with mounting the dish, for which there are 3 techniques. 1. A vertical mount. 2. A horizontal mount. And 3. A special mount. Both the vertical and horizontal mounting techniques use the foot and mast included with the system. This assembly is adaptable for both vertical and horizontal mounting by manipulating the variable adjustment on the foot. Special mounting techniques require brackets and components not included in the dish packaging. These items must be purchased separately. Special mounting techniques include pole and chimney mounts. Now we'll cover mounting the dish to both a wood and brick vertical wall. First, we'll show you how to mount the dish to a lap-sided wall. Lap-sided walls are made up of many narrow boards stacked horizontally up the wall, each one lapped by the board above it. All the boards on a wall are usually the same width, but the width can vary from 4 to 10 inches. So it's possible for one wall to use 5-inch boards and another wall to use 7-inch boards. Lap-siding comes in a variety of styles. Depending on the style, the wall surface is either flat or uneven. For example, drop and rustic siding styles are relatively flat. Installing the dish on one of these surfaces is relatively simple. Rabbeted, bevel, and clapboard styles have uneven wall surfaces. This changes the installation slightly. If the siding is uneven, each board surface is not parallel to the vertical plane of the wall. To mount the foot to this surface requires correct positioning on the surface. Another consideration when mounting to an uneven style is the amount of exposed board, called the face width. For example, the face width of bevel or taper siding styles can vary from 3.5 inches to 12 inches. Narrow widths may create problems when trying to position the mounting foot. This is because the foot is about 7 inches long and mounts across a board. So when installing on boards narrower than 7 inches, a portion of the foot won't contact the wall. This can reduce the strength of the installation. If you must install the mounting foot on a narrow face-width board, you may choose to install a spacer, which will keep the foot securely fastened to the wall and improve the overall look of the installation. Material for the spacer can be wood or plastic and must be soft enough to have holes drilled into it. Lap siding can be made of many materials, ranging from solid wood to aluminum. Never mount the dish on any type of aluminum or vinyl siding. We also don't recommend mounting on any type of composite material, such as strand board, chipboard, fiber board, particle board, or stucco. Solid wood, of course, is excellent. But there are also several types of solid wood siding materials on the market, each varying in strength and hardness. Because of this, always secure the DSS mounting foot to one of the studs that make up the framework of the wall. It's essential that the lag bolts placed in the 2 center holes are anchored to a wall stud. 4 outside corner bolts are highly recommended to minimize lateral movement. To mount your DSS dish to wood siding, select the 1/4 by 3-inch lag screws and 5/16 by 1.5-inch lag screws and flat washers from the hardware packet of the do-it-yourself installation kit. Now, let's go through a mounting on lap siding. Follow these steps as we attach the mounting foot of the satellite dish to lap siding. First, you locate a wall stud that's close by. Spacing between studs is usually 16 or 24 inches. You can find the studs by locating the nails that secure the panel to the wall frame. They'll be driven into the studs and will usually form a track vertically on the siding. These align with the center of the stud, providing an easy guide. Now, place the mounting foot on the siding, aligning the center holes with the center of the stud. With a pencil, mark the upper center hole of the mounting foot. Remove the mounting foot and drill a 1/8-inch hole in the location you marked. Use a 3-inch by 1/4-inch lag bolt and washer to attach the foot to the wall using the hole you just drilled. Tighten the lag bolt until it just holds the mounting foot to the wall. The lower half of the foot should be able to move slightly back and forth. Horizontally level the mast. First, place a bubble level on the mast parallel to the wall. Move the bottom of the mounting foot to center the bubble in the window of the level. With a pencil, draw a line from the center line of the lower foot onto the wall. This line is a reference mark that enables the foot to be restored to level without using the level again. Now use a 7/16-inch wrench to loosen the lower 2 nuts which hold the mast onto the foot. Then move the mast to gain access to the lower center mounting hole. Align the center mark of the foot with the line drawn in the horizontal leveling procedure. Drill a 1/8-inch pilot hole in the lower center mounting hole. Insert a 3-inch by 1/4-inch lag bolt with washer into this hole. Now tighten both the top and bottom lag bolts. With a 3/16-inch bit in the drill, drill 4 pilot holes in the 4 corners of the mounting foot. Now insert 1.5-inch by 5/16-inch lag bolts with washers into the 4 holes and tighten them. Now you can vertically level the mast. Make sure the 2 bolts holding the mast in position are loose enough for the mast to move freely in the foot. Second, place the level on the mast parallel to the wall. Then move the mast vertically to center the bubble in the window of the level. Secure the mast in position by tightening the 2 mounting bolts. Finally, check the tightness of all bolts. Mounting the dish is a different situation on brick walls. Let's look at how this is accomplished now. To mount your DSS dish to brick siding, select the double expansion wall anchors, machine screws, and washers. The do-it-yourself kit is equipped with 1/4-inch by 3-inch machine screws that can be used with either hollow wall anchors or double expansion anchors. This requires a hole at least 3 1/4-inch deep when mounting to a brick surface. However, a 1 1/2-inch machine screw can be used in place of the 3-inch screw provided with the kit. This would require a hole only 1 3/4-inch deep. First, find a level portion of the wall for your mounting location. All corners of the foot should rest securely on the surface. Holding the mounting foot in place, mark one of the outside holes. Drill a 1/2-inch hole here. The size of the hole depends on the size of the machine screws. Our machine screws are 1 1/2 inches long, so our hole is 1 3/4 inch deep. Use a brush or air to clean dust from the hole. Insert a double expansion anchor. With a 1/4 inch by 1 1/2 inch machine screw and a washer, attach the mounting foot to the wall. Tighten the screw until the mounting foot is snug against the wall. Horizontally level the mast. Align the center mark of the mounting foot with the line drawn in the horizontal plumbing procedure. Then, mark the remaining 3 outside holes. Remove the mounting foot and drill 3 1/2 inch holes at the marked locations. Again, clean dust from the holes. Insert double expansion anchors in each hole. Use 4 1/4 inch by 1 1/2 inch machine screws and washers to attach the mounting foot. Tighten all screws. Now you can vertically level the dish. Finish the operation by checking the tightness of all bolts. Our next activity is assembling the dish and routing the cables. Let's divide this into 4 parts. 1. Assembling the dish itself. 2. Routing the cable from the dish to the satellite receiver. 3. Installing the LNB on the dish. And 4. Installing the telephone cable. These 4 procedures are basically the same for all mounting systems. First, assembling the dish. We recommend doing this on the ground before you take it up to the installation site. First, locate the 4 panhead bolts in the hardware packet. Place the reflector on the LNB support bracket, aligning the 4 holes of the reflector with the holes in the bracket. Now insert a panhead bolt into one of the holes. Thread a nut onto this bolt. Follow this procedure for the other 3 bolts. Tighten all 4 bolts with a 7/16 inch wrench. While tightening, position the bolts so that their heads lay flat on the surface of the reflector. Then mount the dish on the mast assembly. Slide the mast clamp of the LNB support arm over the mast. At this point, do not tighten the mast clamp bolts. With the dish assembled and mounted on the mast, we're ready to install the DSS system cables. This includes a ground cable and an LNB cable. The LNB cable runs from the LNB to a ground block and then to the satellite receiver. If you're installing a deluxe system with a dual output LNB, you may choose to run a second LNB cable into your home. This will allow you to connect a second DSS receiver. To do this, you'll need an RCA D902 dual grounding block, an RCA D901 100-foot RG6 coaxial cable, and an RCA D912 12-foot RG6 coaxial cable. These items are specially designed for your RCA digital satellite system and are available from your local RCA digital satellite system retailer. The LNB cable carries high frequencies, and its specifications are important to the performance of the system. The use of existing antenna or cable TV wire may jeopardize your system's performance. To attach the LNB to the support arm, you'll need the LNB mounting bolt, a washer and hex nut from the dish hardware packet, and a Phillips head screwdriver. Now, we're going to install the LNB onto the LNB support arm. First, install the 12-foot coax cable between the ground block and LNB. Route the LNB cable through the mast and LNB support arm to the LNB. Thread the coax cable onto the F connector. Slide the end of the LNB into the rectangular opening of the LNB support arm. Position the LNB to align with the support arm hole. Insert the LNB bolt into the hole on the bottom side of the support arm. Place the washer on the LNB nut and insert the nut into the hole on the top side of the support arm. Tighten with a Phillips head screwdriver. Next, we'll take a look at grounding requirements. The National Electrical Code requires that both the DSS dish and the LNB cable be grounded. This grounding should be close to where the cable enters the house. Grounding is best accomplished with the grounding block included in the do-it-yourself kit. This block is an F-type barrel connector with a terminal on it for grounding the shield. It also has a bracket for securing it to a wall, and it can be located either indoors or outdoors. A grounding conductor connects the grounding block to a grounding point. The National Electrical Code says this conductor must run in a straight line, if possible, between the 2 points. This conductor must be at least a number 10 copper wire. Insulation over the wire is not required. The grounding conductor must also be securely fastened to a sturdy surface to protect it from physical damage. It can't have any splices in it, and it must be connected to the grounding point. The National Electrical Code is also very specific on acceptable grounding points. Some possibilities are a grounded interior metal cold water pipe, a ground rod, which must be buried at least 8 feet deep, a grounded metallic surface raceway, or a grounded electrical service equipment enclosure. These grounding points must be connected to the ground system of the home. There are also specific codes for the correct method of attaching to each grounding point. For this information, consult the National Electrical Code Handbook, as well as any active codes in your area. Contact your local electrical inspector with any questions you have pertaining to proper grounding. To simplify dish grounding, the DSS mounting foot is equipped with 2 holes and the necessary hardware to connect the ground conductor. Our next steps involve installing the L&B cable and grounding. First, route the cable. Install the cable from the mounting foot to the ground block with enough slack to form a 3 to 5 inch drip loop. This prevents water from following the cable into the ground block connections. Form the drip loop and secure it to the wall. Second, ground the dish. To do this, pull the ground conductor up through the mounting foot and connect it with a bolt, nut, and star washer, all of which are included in the hardware kit. Route the grounding conductor to the grounding point. Remember, use the shortest and straightest route. Next, ground the L&B cable. Install the ground conductor onto the terminal of the coax ground block. Route the ground conductor to a grounding rod or other grounding point. Complete your installation by attaching cable ties and securing the cables to the wall. Next, we'll route the L&B cable from the ground block to the satellite receiver. There is more than one way to do this. If the satellite receiver is located on an outside wall, go through the wall. If it's on an inside wall, use a crawl space, basement, or attic space to get the cable to the satellite receiver. To route the L&B cable to the satellite receiver, follow these steps. Drill a 1/2 inch hole at the access point of the cable. Before drilling, make sure there are no wires or pipes in the area of the hole. Push the free end of the 100-foot cable into the access hole into the home. Leave enough cable outside the home to make a 3 to 5 inch drip loop and connect to the ground block. Form the drip loop. Connect one end of the cable to the grounding block. Secure the cable to the wall. Seal the access point into the home with silicone seal. Inside the home now, route the cable to the rear of the satellite receiver. This could be through a floor, attic, or closet space, or directly to the rear of the receiver. If the cable goes straight through a wall covering may be used. In all cases, you should try to both hide and secure the cable. Connect the cable to the satellite in of the satellite receiver. With this part of the installation completed, we can now turn our attention to connecting telephone cable to the satellite receiver. To do this, you'll use an existing phone jack. To use an existing phone jack, locate the modular line cords in the do-it-yourself kit. A modular duplex adapter is included to allow the DSS receiver and the telephone to be connected to the same phone jack. Also included are 2 25-foot modular line cords and an inline connector that will allow you to connect your DSS receiver to a phone jack up to 50 feet away. First, plug the line cord into the telephone jack. Then, route the line cable to the satellite receiver and plug into the phone connector. If a telephone jack is not available, you can have one installed or use a wireless phone extender to turn a wall outlet into a telephone jack. The RCA D916 phone jack system was designed specifically for this purpose. These units use the AC wiring of the home to connect a remote telephone or the DSS receiver to the telephone lines. Wireless phone adapters usually include 2 pieces. One piece, called the base unit, plugs into an AC outlet near an existing phone jack. A modular telephone cable then connects between the existing phone jack and the base unit. The second piece, called the extension jack, plugs into an AC outlet near a remote phone or the DSS receiver. The telephone or DSS receiver then plugs into the extension jack. This system allows new phone jacks to be installed quickly and easily. At this point, we're ready to connect the satellite receiver to the TV and the VCR. So let's go through this procedure step by step. Before you begin, make sure a phone line is connected to the phone jack on the satellite receiver. This enables the user to receive pay-per-view programming and allows the program provider to download monthly billing information. Begin the hookup by connecting the off-air antenna cable or cable TV lead to the in-from-antenna connector on the satellite receiver. An off-air antenna or cable TV signal is required to receive local programming. Next, take an RF cable and connect it to the out-to-TV connector on the satellite receiver. This is the RF out, either channel 3 or 4 of the satellite receiver. This can be one of two signals, either the output of the satellite receiver or the RF signal from the off-air antenna or cable TV. The TV DSS button determines which signal is present on the jack. Connect the other end of this cable to the in-from-antenna connector on the VCR. Now you're ready to connect the audio and video cables to the satellite receiver. On the satellite receiver, insert the red audio cable into the right audio channel and the white audio cable into the left audio channel. Then, connect the other ends of this cable to their corresponding audio-in connectors on the VCR. If you're working with a mono VCR, connect the right or red cable only. Next, connect the remaining yellow video cable to the video connector on the satellite receiver. Connect the other end of this cable to the video-in connector on the VCR. If your television or VCR is equipped with an S-video input, you may connect an S-video cable to the receiver at this point. The S-video connector provides optimum picture performance for units equipped with S-video processing circuitry. Depending on your television's connection requirements, you may or may not need to have a video cable connected along with the S-video cable. Now let's look at how to connect the VCR and satellite receiver to a television. First, connect an RF cable to the out-to-TV connector on the VCR. Connect the other end of this RF cable to the antenna A connector on the TV. This connection may also be called antenna in, tuner in, or RF in. This connection will allow the viewer to watch one program and record another simultaneously. Now we can send the video and audio to the television. Connect one end of a video cable to the video out connector on the VCR. Connect the other end to the video in connector on the TV. This will enable the viewer to use the television's monitor function for improved picture quality. If your television has S-video capabilities, you may attach the S-video cable to the television at this point. Continue by connecting the red audio cable to the right audio out connector on the VCR. Similarly, connect the white audio cable to the left audio out connector on the VCR. Connect the other ends of these cables to their corresponding right and left audio in connectors on the TV. Again, if you're working with a mono VCR, you would connect the right or red cable only. This configuration will allow you to record video and stereo audio directly from the satellite receiver. The VCR must be turned on and in the line-in mode for the television to receive the stereo audio and video signals from the satellite receiver. And there you have it, the base system RCA DRD102RW connected to both the television and VCR. The RCA DRD203RW advanced system connects in the same manner as the base system. You'll note that an additional set of audio and video output jacks are located on the rear of the receiver. These jacks can be used to provide an audio signal to a stereo receiver or a direct audio-video connection to a television. A direct connection to the television would allow satellite programming to be viewed without activating the VCR. To provide a direct connection to the television, simply connect an additional set of audio-video cables to the rear of the satellite receiver. The other end of these cables should be connected to the auxiliary 2 or input 2 connectors on the television. As we continue, we'll cover aligning the satellite dish. This is the procedure that accurately points the DSS dish of the satellites, and this pointing is critical to the performance of the system. Point the dish directly at the satellites and the satellite receiver gets a strong signal. Any dropouts in the signal would be small and could be corrected by the receiver. If the dish alignment is not optimized, the signal is weaker, causing dropouts that the receiver may not be able to correct. This results in the receiver freezing the picture until good data is once again received. To align the DSS dish, there are two adjustments: azimuth and elevation. Azimuth adjustment is the side-to-side alignment of the dish. This adjustment is accomplished by rotating the dish on the mounting post or mast. The elevation adjustment is the up and down alignment of the dish. There's a reference scale on the side of the LNB support arm that is calibrated in degrees. If the mast holding the dish is level, this scale will be accurate. There are 4 steps in aligning the DSS dish. 1. Determine the azimuth and elevation for your geographical location. 2. Adjust the elevation. 3. Adjust the azimuth. 4. Acquire and fine-tune a signal. Let's go over them one at a time. Step 1 is to determine the azimuth and elevation settings for your location. These coordinates will vary depending on your location in the continental U.S. The simplest method of determining these coordinates is the dish positioning system of the DSS satellite receiver. To use this system, connect either the S-video, video, or RF output of the DSS receiver to the television. Apply AC power to the receiver and tune the television to the correct input. Then, using either the remote control or the front panel buttons of the receiver, perform the following steps. Once the main menu is on the screen, select Options to bring up the second level of menus. From the second menu, select the Setup option. In the third level of menus, select Dish Pointing. Once in the Dish Pointing menu, there are 2 ways to determine the correct azimuth and elevation settings. Method 1 uses the option Position Dish using zip code. The second method uses the latitude and longitude coordinates of the installation site. Refer to the do-it-yourself manual provided with the kit. To use the zip code system, select the Position Dish using zip code menu. Once selected, the zip code menu appears. You then enter the 5-digit zip code in the boxes provided using the number keys on the remote and selecting the OK box. The next screen shows you the azimuth and elevation coordinates that will point you at the DSS satellites. On a piece of paper, record the azimuth and elevation coordinates. Let's move on now to step 2, which is adjusting the dish elevation. Here are the steps. 1. Loosen the 2 nuts securing the elevation movement of the dish. It should move freely up and down. 2. Line up the elevation indicator with the tick mark corresponding to the elevation number for your installation site. 3. When the elevation aligns with the correct mark on the elevation indicator, tighten the 2 nuts. Step 3 is to adjust the azimuth of the dish. For this job, you'll need a compass and the azimuth coordinates to the DSS satellites from the installation site. Follow these steps. 1. With the compass, approximate the direction to the DSS satellites. 2. Move the dish to point the LNB in the direction of the DSS satellites. And now, on to step 4, acquiring and fine-tuning. The satellite receiver's menu offers 2 procedures to help you fine-tune the dish position. First is an audio tone. To listen to the tone, connect a television, headphones, or amplifier to the appropriate jacks on the rear of the receiver. Then go to the signal meter screen on your receiver. This is accessed in much the same way as the dish pointing menu. From the main menu, select Options. From the next level of menu, select Setup. From the Setup menu, choose Dish Pointing. And from the next set of menus, Signal Meter. When the dish isn't pointed at the satellites and not receiving a signal, the receiver outputs short bursts of the tone. Once the DSS signal is received, the tone becomes continuous. The second positioning procedure is the on-screen display. This display includes both a bar display and a numeric display. The bar display extends across the television screen. The stronger the signal, the further across it reaches. The numeric display range is 1 to 100. The larger the number, the stronger the signal. Please note that a full scale indication is not possible in most parts of the country. When adjusting the dish, adjust for the highest number or the longest display. Both the tone and numeric displays can be used to peak the dish's position. When the signal meter is activated, the satellite receiver uses a search routine to lock the tuner to a satellite transponder. This search procedure lasts several seconds. The transponder the receiver searches for is displayed on the alignment screen and set at the factory. When aligning the dish, move the dish only after the receiver is finished with one complete search routine. The on-screen display signals the end of a search routine by displaying the message, "Rotate the dish 3 degrees." The receiver outputs a tone burst at the end of every search routine. When aligning the dish, move it only when you see the message, "Rotate the dish 3 degrees," or only for every other audio tone burst. This ensures that the receiver has completed one search routine after the dish is moved. Again, keep in mind that once the DSS signal is received, the audio tone becomes continuous. Here's how to align the dish with the video display. Position a television within view. Either 1, look through a window, or 2, run an RF cable from the out to TV connector of the receiver to a portable television which can be carried outside. Tune the television to either channel 3 or 4. Gently turn the dish right or left 1 tick mark of the alignment tape and pause. The alignment tape on the mast of the DSS dish is marked in 3-degree increments. Watch the signal strength display on the TV screen while the receiver goes through a complete tuning cycle. Once the Rotate Dish 3 degrees display appears, move the dish another 3 degrees and wait for one complete tuning cycle. Continue this sequence by rotating the dish 1 tick mark. Stop at the largest number or the longest bar display. Once a signal has been received, tighten up the mast clamp bolts located on the LNB support arm. Once the azimuth is aligned, fine-tune the elevation. Start this by loosening the elevation bolts. While watching the television display, move the dish up or down 3 degrees at a time. Each mark of the elevation scale represents 1 degree. Continue this sequence until the largest number or the longest bar display appears. Then tighten the elevation bolts to secure the dish in place. Here's how to align the dish with the audio tone. Use the portable TV or wireless headphones to listen for the audio tone. Gently turn the dish right or left 1 tick mark and listen for the audio tone to beep twice. Then move the dish another tick and listen for the tones again. Rotate the dish 3 degrees at a time until you get the continuous tone. Mark the mast at that position. Then continue rotating the dish 3 degrees or 1 tick mark at a time until the tone stops. Mark the mast at that point. Now, center the dish between the 2 marks. This should be the dish's optimum position. If you turn the dish all the way in one direction without locking on a good satellite signal, move back to the starting point and repeat the same operation in the opposite direction. Snug bolt securing the LNB support arm to the mast. Next, fine-tune the elevation adjustment. Use a pencil to mark the current setting on the elevation scale of the LNB support arm. Loosen the bolt securing the elevation adjustment. While listening to the audio tone, move the dish up 3 increments, which is 3 degrees. Stop moving the dish when the tone stops. Mark the position on the elevation scale. Lower the dish to the original location mark. While listening to the tone, lower the dish in 3-degree increments. As before, stop lowering the dish when the tone stops. Mark this position on the elevation scale. Center the elevation of the dish between the upper and lower marks. This position will be the optimum elevation of the dish. Finally, tighten all bolts securing the dish. If you are unable to acquire the DSS signal, recheck all connections and adjustments. If the system fails, a system test menu has been developed to help diagnose a system problem. There are 4 tests in this menu: signal, tuning, phone, and access card. The system test is accessed from the option selection on the DSS main menu. From there, you choose Setup. Then select System Test from the Setup menu. Next, select Test from the System Test menu. You'll either get an OK message or a failure message if there is a problem in the area being tested. If the system is still inoperative, call the RCA DSS Service Support line at 1-800-679-4776. When calling the DSS support line, be prepared to supply the following information: your name and address, DSS receiver model and serial numbers, access card number, an accurate description of the problem, and the results of the system test. The access card number is printed on the back side of the card. The last step in the installation is activating the programming. To do this, it'll be necessary to contact your program providers, DirecTV and/or USSB. Specific information is required by each program provider to activate your account. For DirecTV, call 1-800-DirecTV, 1-800-347-3288, and provide the following: your name and address, your telephone number, the serial number of your satellite receiver, and your access card number. If you have any questions or problems, an operator will be available to help you. To activate USSB programming, dial 1-800-204-USSB, 1-800-204-8772, and input the following information: your name and address, your telephone number, receiver serial number, and access card number. This is the information that USSB requires to set up new customers. Once the activation calls have been completed, verify that programming is being received. If you have a question about your programming options or services, contact the program provider's customer service department at the numbers we covered for activating programming. With your installation complete, it may be time to consult your owner's manual and familiarize yourself with its operation. Much like a TV, it's just a matter of point and select. Pick up the remote and press the DSS button, and a DSS program comes on the screen. Press the channel up-down buttons to scan through the channels. The volume up-down buttons will adjust the volume on compatible televisions. The digital satellite system features an on-screen program guide to help you select regular and pay-per-view programs. It allows you to sort through the guide for specific types of programs, such as sports or movies. RCA DSS also features an on-screen menu system that allows the user to set up the system, customize it, build channel lists, preview coming attractions, set limits, obtain help, and receive mail from the service providers. Let's talk a little about the program guide. The rule again is point and select. Also remember, at any time, the clear button returns you to programming with one push. You can get to the program guide by pressing the Guide button on the remote, or by pressing Menu on the remote and selecting Program Guide. Point to items on the screen by pressing the arrow keys on the remote or the front panel of the DSS receiver. The highlighting block moves every time you press an arrow. Press the Select button to tune in to a program. Selecting a future program will give you program details. Choosing a pay-per-view event will give you a second screen which prompts you to either receive information, buy the program, or return to the program guide. There are other features of the program guide. Channel number keys allow the user to point to a channel in the guide quickly by entering the channel number with the number keys. Scrolling. The program guide that is displayed is only a section of the total guide. Scroll to see other parts of the guide by using the arrow keys. Channel up-down scrolls up or down through the program guide a page at a time. Filters, indicators at the bottom of the guide, allow the user to simplify or filter the guide information. They are movies. Simplifies or filters the program guide to list movies only. After selecting movies, choose Theme to filter the guide even further and list specific types of movies, such as comedies or action-adventure. Sports filters the program guide to list sports programs only. After selecting sports, choose Theme to list specific sports, such as football, basketball, or soccer. Other filters the guide to list certain types of programs, such as news, sitcoms, or home shopping programs. All resets the program guide to show all available channels and listings. Next, we'll review the menu system. Just like the program guide, the same rule applies when using the menu system. Do you remember the rule? Sure you do. Point and select. There are basically two parts to the menu system. One, menus, and two, display screens. All menus are lists of choices. There are two ways to make a choice. One, point to your choice and select it, or two, use the number key on the remote. Another advantage of the point and select system is that a one-line help message appears at the bottom of the screen to describe the selection that you've highlighted. A display screen is where you make things happen in the menu system. Each display screen has a work area as well as a number of selections. Let's look at an example. Setting your RCA DSS locks and limits is an example of work done in a display screen. First, press Menu to bring up the main menu. Notice that there is always a help message at the bottom of the screen with a brief description of the highlighted menu item. Select Options from the main menu. The Options menu will appear and you will select Locks, Limits, and Channel Lists. If your system is locked, you will be prompted to enter your password. The Locks, Limits, and Channel List includes ratings, spending, and channel limits. Choose Ratings and set the maximum ratings for rated movies. This is useful to parents who want to keep younger members of the family from watching certain types of movies. If the program provider transmits the proper ratings information, movies that are rated higher can't be viewed without entering your 4-digit code number. There is also a spending limit command screen that prompts you to enter a maximum spending limit for any one program. This may be useful in preventing expensive programs from being purchased by mistake. Once these limits are set, they will be enforced provided the system is locked with your 4-digit personal identification number. The display screens in the menu system may not always look the same, but they will work in the same way. Many screens have an OK button, which you can use to indicate that you're finished working in the display screen and to keep your changes in memory. With its Channel Lists feature, the digital satellite system allows you to customize your system by creating up to 3 channel lists. To build a channel list, select Locks, Limits, and Channel Lists from the Options menu. If your system is locked, you'll be prompted to enter your password. Select Channel Limits and Lists from the second level of menus. Point and select to check off the channels you want on the list. Parents can block out any channels they don't want viewed by using the Parent Approved list. Once you've built your list, you may scan through the channels on your selected list using the channel up-down buttons on the remote. If parents choose to block channels, the system will enforce the limits provided the system is locked. The system also allows the viewer to simplify the program guide to show only programs broadcast on the channels on your selected list. This is accessed through the Options menu. The channel lists available are Normal. Allows the user to create a channel list which doesn't include unwanted channels from the All list. Favorite A allows the user to build a top 10 channel list. Favorite B allows the user to build a second top 10 channel list. And All Channels includes all available channels sent by your service provider. Our next topic is the Online Help System. The RCA digital satellite system provides 3 kinds of help. 1. Auto Help, a short description of the menu you're using that appears at the bottom of the screen. 2. Help Buttons, buttons located on display screens that, when selected, will provide information about the display screen that is being used. And 3. Menu Help, a selection on the main menu that provides a list of help topics. These include Remote Control Help, which shows an on-screen display of the remote control. By using the left-right, up-down arrows, you can highlight any button on the remote control hand unit and see a brief description of its functions. Program Guide Help shows a screen-by-screen overview of the program guide features. Menu System Help gives a screen-by-screen overview of the DSS menu system. Program Type Help provides information on the 3 types of programming available on your digital satellite system. These include free, subscription, and pay-per-view. Front Panel Help shows an on-screen display of the DSS receiver's front panel. Point and select different front panel buttons to see a brief description of highlighted features. Back Panel Help shows an on-screen display of the satellite receiver back panel. Point and select to see a brief description of the highlighted features. Glossary shows a list of common DSS and TV terms. Use the up-down arrow buttons to point to glossary items and see brief descriptions. There are still other major RCA DSS operating features. Let's review. Pay-per-view events, programs that you purchase on an individual basis from your service providers. They can be found in the program guide. You can purchase them in 3 ways. By tuning to a program while scanning the channel list, by selecting a pay-per-view event in the program guide, or by selecting a coming attraction from the Attractions menu. The Attractions menu is a listing of upcoming programming that's not listed in the program guide. If you select a pay-per-view event, a display screen with program details comes up. A second screen will prompt you to receive information, buy the program, or return to the program guide. The RCA digital satellite system allows the user to confirm purchases before authorizing them, provides the option to cancel them, and the opportunity to review them. Once a program is purchased, the information is stored within the receiver. Then, once a month, it's sent to the billing service through your phone line. The DSS mailbox shows messages that are sent from the service provider regarding birthday or holiday greetings, upcoming programs, or other programming instructions. When you have mail, the power button on the front of the receiver flashes. Also, the channel marker displays an icon that tells you mail has been sent. There are other features accessible from the main menu. Alternate audio. This allows the user to select different audio programs to be played with the video. For example, foreign language audio may be available for certain programs. The audio can be changed by selecting alternate audio from the main menu or by pressing the Alt-Aud alternate audio button on the remote. 8 audio settings are available. These are the basic operating features of the RCA digital satellite system. But this isn't all to consider. Just as we don't live in a perfect world, problems can occur. The RCA DSS warranty covers any defect in materials or workmanship. How long is the warranty in effect? 90 days for labor charges, 1 year for parts. During the first 90 days, Thompson will exchange the defective portion of the system with either a new unit or a refurbished one. This is Thompson's option. What happens after 90 days but within a year after purchase? Again, Thompson will exchange the defective portion with a new or refurbished unit. You would be billed a flat labor charge to replace a defective satellite receiver. Labor costs for removal and reinstallation of any equipment are your responsibility. The RCA DSS service support line will assist you in obtaining warranty service. The number is 1-800-679-4776. The RCA DSS Owner's Manual includes additional information on how to obtain a replacement unit under different circumstances, as well as a complete list of what the DSS warranty does not cover. Though your warranty will not be affected, you are encouraged to complete and mail a product registration card which is packed with the DSS receiver. This makes it easier for Thompson to contact you should it ever be necessary. The RCA digital satellite system is the real leading edge in home entertainment. It's a system that gives you the widest variety of information and entertainment programming right at your fingertips.
We have ignition. We have liftoff. Are you with me?